Okay, I'm live. So I decided to do a stream of consciousness talking head video, no editing, just instead of talking to myself in the shower about this stuff, need to get those thoughts out there. So this is about the death of physical media or really just games, because I guess that's something to talk about other than AI these days. Um, I have some thoughts on it, so that's why I am recording this. Um, let's see. So the same people that are saying, yeah, death of physical media, or just crying about it, are the same people that buy all their stuff online now. Yeah, excuse the background. I know it looks like a disaster, but um, we all know that. Okay, so nobody is going to the store and buying games. Nobody is ordering the game. Well, maybe some people are ordering the games on Amazon and having them delivered, but that means you have to wait even with Prime. I don't think anybody's really doing that. Basically, if it made Sony money, they would still be doing it. It's not making anybody money. Okay. It costs more money. We all these things I know everybody should know, so I don't need to repeat them in detail. But look, this has been coming, right? I mean, I stopped buying games physically 15 or more years ago. It was around the same time that Apple killed the optical drive or removed the optical drive from their super drive from their Macs. Okay. That was actually probably about a year after I had stopped using any drives, right? And I remember the complaining back then. Um, this should have, I thought for sure, this, I can tell you for a fact, this was a decision that was made like last generation. Okay. They sort of tried to, you know, appease the crowd by giving you like what a PS5 that has the disc drive and then a digital only, and then like reducing the price by $100 to try to get you to buy it, because then they could say, well, we took out the drive, it saves us money, we pass it on, but they're also just, you know, further subsidizing it, right? Because the drive only costs like $25. They're encouraging, they're creating a lower entry level price, and they earn back some of the money on the sales in the digital store. I think all this stuff is obvious, right? It's just that I actually thought it should have happened when the PS5 came out and the Xbox Series, whatever. Like, I guess what the X has the disk drive, but the um, S doesn't. I don't know. I'm not really an Xbox player anymore. But okay, so this should have happened back then, and now they announced it, coming in 2028. And generations used to be 5 years, but then they got made into 7 to 8 years. So this is no surprise to anybody, right? It's just that people are upset because it's now coming true. Well, it doesn't matter how many letters you write to your congressman or how much complaining you make. No amount of complaining, in fact, will reverse this decision because it was inevitable. Man, I gotta take this call. Well, hey, why are you? I'm on YouTube live right now. You should just tune in. Okay? Sounds good. All right. Sorry, he double called me, so I have to pick up. And now he's triple calling me. We're not gonna answer that. because I actually wanted to archive this video or make an upload or whatever. So this should have happened 5, 6 years ago during COVID, except they didn't want to upset people because y'all were playing so many video games that they couldn't afford to upset anybody. They would be like, no, we can't do that. We have to just put it in there anyways. So they gave you all a choice, right? They were warming you up while appeasing you for the inevitable that everyone knew was coming, unless I guess you were a complete moron, then maybe you didn't see this coming. But then the only people that really cry about this are the older people, and the older people all should have known this is coming. So really, anyways, no amount of crying will change the decision. The decision is inevitable. I don't care if the CEO sold half his stock or whatever. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, that's nothing. So, anyways, we all know that's coming. I guess. So, what is my point? My point is just Steam has been around for 20 years. Everyone loves Steam. Well, most PC gamers. There's this weird crowd, I guess, that have woke up to what's really going on with the GOG, good old games, whatever. To be honest with you, I was very late to that because I heard of it and I was like, oh, it's an alternative Steam store, but I was like, but everyone loves Steam. Why buy your games over there? And then I learned about the DRM free nature of it and all that, and I'm like, okay, that I love that. It's like the truly free, truly open source version. Yes, a lot of these games get downloaded and uploaded to the Pirate Bay, and they even say they got them from GOG. But the truth of the matter is, these old games don't make the developers any money. They should be happy to sell it in any way they can because it's a sunk cost. It's already been developed. It's already been marketed. They're not marketing it anymore. It's just a free, it's just a revenue source. So there's really no reason to worry about it from their perspective. Um, I don't even want to talk about Nintendo and how like messed up they are. There's two sides to it, right? One side is they're obligated to basically defend their copyright aggressively, which not everybody knows this, and they should know this, in order to avoid turning into, I forget what the classic example is, but we'll just say Kleenex. Okay, like in copyright law, if you become the generic term and you don't frivolous or fiercely defend your turf, basically, like Nintendo at one time during their heyday in the 90s was becoming synonymous with basically like video games or video game consoles, and they had to like change some of that language to basically be like, hey, we're not synonymous with video game. We are a brand. We are, we have basically, if you let yourself become, it's called a generic term. If you let your IP become generalized, and you don't prove to a judge that you tried to defend, I'm not sure, again, I'm not a lawyer, but encroachment on your copyright on your IP, then you can lose your copyright protection. You can lose basically your IP. And once that's gone, it goes to the public domain and you never get it back. So that's why they go pretty hard on people, and people rightly so get pretty annoyed by it. So I see both sides to it on that case. Anyways, the point I want to make is that what I will be showing you working on later this year and maybe in the next year is sort of the end game to this gaming dilemma that we're all in. There were these Xbox layoffs. Okay, I don't want to repeat the news. I think we all read the news, but in case people are watching this later. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I could buy games on Steam. I could spend, I mean, there are some games on there that I really want that go on sale. They're like 99 cents. Okay. But I've stopped buying all games on Steam unless it is free. Um, because I stopped trusting anything that is on somebody else's server. Okay. Um, it doesn't really matter who it is, what it is, which company it is, because I guess I need to remind half of y'all, and then the other half don't even know. So just sit through this part while I refresh everybody. But you don't buy these items. Okay, they're not items. They're licensing agreements. Okay, terms of service. What is that? Okay, it's not even really a contract. It's like an IOU. It's like I put a little piece of paper or on a post-it note, I'm company A, and as long as you don't violate these terms, and as long as I feel like following these terms of service, I will grant you a license to access said digital media thing, whatever. Okay, here you go. And that's what you're buying. You're buying a promise. You're buying a promissory note or whatever. You're not buying anything. Okay, you're not buying a Lego kit. You're not buying a movie on a disc that you can back up and whatever. There's DRM on these videos, guys. I've had to figure out ways to bypass the DRM so I can make my own backups of it, because you are not granted access to this stuff. Okay, if indefinitely. They may say it is, but it's like I remember when they were first getting the streaming thing going, and there was something called ultraviolet. So it was like you buy a Blu-ray, and they were like, ha ha ha, we'll give you the ultraviolet streaming thing. I don't even think that thing's around anymore. Like, that thing died like a long time ago. And so that is worthless now. And then I've watched so many videos of people going over, hey, here's this game, and it came in a box, and it had this stupid DRM in it, and then that company went out of business, and now you can't activate the game or whatever, and the servers are offline. They gave you a way to do something to bypass it for a little while, and then they took those servers offline. This was BioShock 2. But it happens over and over again. So, like, stop buying this stuff because you're not buying anything. All right. Basically, you should acquire it in whatever means you deem morally justifiable, and keep your own copies and run your own freaking data center. Because if it's on somebody else's server, you are not guaranteed access to it indefinitely or for any length of time, for that matter. Yeah, I just need to wake everybody up to this. It's like, I think most people know this stuff, but it's like, but people aren't doing the action to address it. What they see is the erosion of their rights, ownership rights, property rights, that type of thing. And it is a right. It is foundational. Our society is basically built on it, is how capitalism functions. If capitalism doesn't have property rights or capital rights, things will get very bleak very quickly. Things will start to crumble. Okay, I'm not going to be a doomsayer, but y'all need to start thinking of ways to take action and fight back. Okay. And not buying or boycotting is not going to do it either. Okay. That they'll, it'll hurt their bottom line. Well, guess what? They get in a boardroom and they figure out how to squeeze the remaining people even harder. And then the people that are sitting out see that, and nothing changes. Okay. Nothing gets better. And shitification continues. So you go rogue. All right. You figure out how to support who you want to support, the creators that you admire or approve of or whatever you enjoy. You support those people, and then basically fuck all the other ones. Okay. Um, and don't be a slave to the rest of the world. Okay. If things are not going the way you like, stop and think, how are they doing it? How are they shitifying it? How are they eroding my rights to ownership? Everything's becoming a subscription, yada, yada, yada. We all know this. Figure out ways to fight back. Okay. Take ownership of what you can. Okay. It's not very far off that everyone will be game streaming. The only thing you'll be running locally will be like phone games. Okay. Um, so if you don't approve of that, if you're cool with that, then great, because there is benefits to that. You don't have to become a system admin and run all this stuff yourself. Plus, you get all the social stuff. You get to talk with your friends online. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build all that stuff in house, the entire library that I can get my hands on, and basically reverse engineer all that online component stuff. I don't want it to go away. It already went away. The thing is, yeah, for all the old games, unless, the oldest game I still play is like StarCraft 2, but like, RuneScape's still around. It makes money. World of Warcraft, whatever, it makes money. But like a lot of those free online services, I bet the LAN component still works, but the online component doesn't work anymore. Well, you know what? It's just software, okay? And we have AI agents. You can figure out a way to whatever IP it's trying to reach, virtualize it, figure it out, because there's net play, there's the ROMs and the emulators, and then the compiled stuff now. There's so many possibilities, and we've never had so many strong tools at our fingertips with AI, yada yada yada. So in the news, what made the rounds in the news right after DeepSeek and blah 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 was SaaSpocalypse, right? Before, in between Rampocalypse was SaaSpocalypse. Well, you know what? They thought, oh, it came and went, like it was just like a bad dream. Well, it's not a bad dream. Because it woke me up to it too. It started to become pretty evident that, like, not only were you own software developer, but if you didn't like the way other software was, you could just roll out your own services. Well, you know what? That's what y'all should be doing. Okay. You need to take action. All right. That's it. Going offline now. Thanks for tuning in.